So yes, do I stumble over reading recipe cards? Yes, I do, especially when they're really old and they don't make any sense. So today's vintage recipe card is going to be from the late 1940s to the 1950s. This recipe will make 2 loaves of bread, and this is called oatmeal bread. So you will take 1 cup of oatmeal, 2 cups of boiling water, 1 package of yeast. Our measurements nowadays are 2 1/4 teaspoons, a half a cup of lukewarm water, which is 110 to 115, a half a cup of molasses, 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt, 1 tablespoon of shortening melted. You probably could use oil or butter melted, and 4 1/2 cups of flour. This is where it gets tricky. So in the 40s and into the early 50s, they used what were called yeast cakes or yeast pucks. And nowadays we have the yeast packets, or we have basic yeast. So I'm going to kind of work around that. So you're going to combine your oats and your boiling water. You're going to mix that, cover it, and let it stand for 1 hour, and then let it cool down. Then you will proof your yeast after your oats are cooled. Proof your yeast with your half a cup of warm water, and then add your yeast to your oats. And then you're going to mix in the molasses, the salt, the shortening, and the flour. And you're going to mix all that up. Then you will let it rise. When it rises up and it looks nice and like a bread, you're going to place that into your bread pans, into greased bread pans, and let it rise to the top of the pan. So you want it to come over the edge. You're going to bake it at 400 degrees for 10 minutes. Then you're going to reduce the heat of the oven to 375 for 35 to 40 minutes. So this is oatmeal bread, vintage recipe from the late 40s, early 50s. And the recipe will be explained down below much better.